What's up, everyone? Welcome to the April 22nd edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at Prize Picks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We're back to MLB tonight, back to regularly scheduled programming. 13 MLB games on the slate, starting at the normal 7:05 time. So we're going to take a look at three of the top tournament stacks and three of the top tournament pitchers using the top stacks tool and the top pitchers tool on the Awesemo.com website. Starting with the top stacks, number three, the Philadelphia Phillies are projected for 1% aggregate ownership with a 4% chance of being the top scoring stack. They have a difficult matchup tonight against Freddie Peralta, but there's also just a lot of power in this Phillies lineup. And while they have certainly had their share of struggles early on in the season, as anyone who has rostered them heavily like myself can attest, they're proven hitters. We know what we're getting from these Phillies bats, and they're going to turn things around sooner rather than later. Peralta is a good pitcher. He has a 3.69 xFIP and has only allowed 0.9 home runs per 9 innings since the start of last season, but still a 4.1 implied run total for Philly in Citizens Bank Park, where we know it's a favorable park for power, and you do just get a lot of power upside in this lineup at very low ownership. Number two, the Atlanta Braves projected for 3% aggregate ownership with a 5% chance of being the top scoring stack. They also have a difficult matchup tonight against Trevor Rogers. Rogers, since the start of last season, has been very effective. He has a 3.61 xFIP. He's only allowed about 0.4 home runs per 9 innings, also has a very high strikeout percentage. But similar to the Phillies, there's just a lot of power to be had in this Braves lineup at very little ownership. It's not that they're particularly likely to have success against Rogers tonight, but they do have a 4.3 implied run total. And when things go well for this Braves lineup, it's likely that they go very well because you have so much power. Also, in addition to the power, you have some speed, particularly with somebody like Ozzie Albies at the top of the order. So the Braves are just a very high upside team that aren't getting much ownership. And number one, the New York Mets projected for 5% ownership with a 6% chance of being the top scoring stack. They're facing Zach Gallen tonight in Arizona. Gallen has a 3.98 xFIP and has allowed 1.36 home runs per 9 since the start of last season. The Mets have a 4.4 implied run total. And similar to the Phillies, similar to the Braves, while it's not a horrible pitcher that they're going up against, you do just have a lot of power in this lineup, in addition to speed. Starling Marte has power and speed. Francisco Lindor can run and is hitting the ball very well. Peter Alonso has power. Nimmo has power. Escobar, McNeil has some power. Kana has power. So it's just a lineup that really gives you a lot of upside top to bottom. Looking at the top three tournament pitchers on FanDuel, number three, the other side of that Philadelphia Phillies game, Freddie Peralta projected for about 5% ownership with a 5% chance of being the top scoring pitcher. Peralta is $9,900. He's thrown 88 and 77 pitches in his first two starts of the season. The fact that he threw 88 in the first start and then struggled in the second start makes me think that he's not on any sort of real pitch count here, and that if he's pitching well, we don't need to be worried about his ability to go deep into this game. He's struck out 32.8% of hitters in his starts since the beginning of last season. He also has a 3.69 xFIP over that stretch. Number two, Michael Wacha projected for 4% ownership with a 6% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Wacha is pitching in Tropicana Field against the Tampa Bay Rays. He has a 22.9% strikeout percentage in his starts since the beginning of last season, 3.94 xFIP. He's thrown 72 and 79 pitches in his first two starts of the season. It's not the most appealing matchup against Tampa Bay because they do have some power in that lineup, but it is a favorable park for pitchers, and Wacha, certainly is cheap enough where he could take advantage, and he isn't getting much ownership either. And number one, Michael Kopech projected for 4% ownership with a 7% chance of being the top scoring pitcher. He's facing the Minnesota Twins tonight in Minnesota. $9,500 price tag on Kopech. He threw 69 and 75 pitches in his first two starts. Hopefully he can get up into the 85 pitch range tonight against Minnesota. He's only made 6 starts since the beginning of last season, but he has struck out 36.5% of hitters in those starts. 2.96 xFIP for Kopech. He is a very talented pitcher, one of the top pitching prospects, or has been one of the top pitching prospects for several years now. He was acquired by Chicago from the Red Sox in the Chris Sale trade. He was, one of the prize pieces there along with Yohan Moncada. So the talent is certainly there. It's just a matter of now finally getting an opportunity to hopefully remain healthy and put it together at the big league level. You're paying for his talent, more so than you're paying for results that he's had, or at least more so than you're paying for certainty. I guess you are kind of paying for the results in the sense that he has a 36% strikeout percentage in those 6 starts, but it's far from a known he's far from a known commodity at this point, but you know that he does have very, very good stuff, and he's not getting much ownership, so it's a pretty good spot to gamble. So to recap, the top three tournament options, or sorry, top three tournament stacks on FanDuel: number three, the Philadelphia Phillies; number two, the Atlanta Braves; and number one, the New York Mets. And the top three tournament pitchers: number three, Freddie Peralta; number two, Michael Waka; and number one, Michael Kopech.